Good afternoon. Last year, Ancient Hebrew made a video called the King James Version Translation Error in Psalm 12:7, and that was made in April 18th, 2010. He came into the discussion. I was having with ModerateCalvinist, who said he found an error in the King James Version regarding 12:7, and he was using interlinear and using ESV, and he's looking at us and the ending there, the new and while ending. And I said no, that you don't prove, it doesn't prove an error because it can be an energetic new, and the pause at the end of the at the end of the word indicates it's very likely an energetic new, and that's what the King James translators were looking at. That fill could be third person singular, and that was what the initial argument was about. And then the second argument is about how you should translate the third person singular. That's the secondary argument. The first argument was it energetic new or not? Could it be an energetic new? And they were swirling up and down. It couldn't be. It was us. I said it could be in us, but it also could be a third person singular, as other translations had it. And the issue of the them is based on that context. If you look at that video in Ancient Hebrew and his condescending, patronizing way he approaches my discussion, you'll see that 505 on that thing, he says the context will determine whether it's a third person singular or a first person plural. Now he wants to deny off the bat that it can be them, and but the issue of context comes in, and that's the issue before the preserve says keep and keep them, and so you have them at the end there, and the translators were looking at them and said them, and that's why you have two thems there as opposed to one. And when I said initially in my energetic noon, that other tape about the hymn, I said the hymn didn't make any sense. It was meant in terms of the context of the translation, not that it couldn't be a hymn in third person singular. So it is, again, taking things out of context. And so, well, I just don't know, Hebrew grammar said that's a third person singular. So very clearly it was third person singular. The issue now became why it was translated as third person plural. And again, the context is determining that. So he just wants to reject the idea that it can be translated as third person plural. And so let's look at what the TANAKH says here. TANAKH has, it's a Jewish translation. You, O Lord, will keep them, guarding each from this generation evermore. Each is a plural, has a plural connotation, each one. And that's where the King James translators were going. The ASV translators, the New King James translators, they saw it as them because they saw as each one of them, and the context determined that. So I was very surprised when I didn't notice they said that initially, but in 505 he brings up the word context. And I had a discussion with him before about the issue of context, and now the sense often determines the translation. It's not the strict morphology of a word or the grammar. But I'd recommend that you go back and watch that video, Ancient Hebrew, and see the condescending and patronizing way he approaches an individual. This isn't about me knowing a third person singular. This is about the King James translators knowing a third person singular and why they translated them. And so that's what the real issue is. Why are they translating it then? You have to grant the assumption that the New Americans, the ASV translators knew Hebrew, New King James translators knew Hebrew, and certainly King James translators knew Hebrew. But this is the mindset of Bible correctors who don't want to explain why a translation is translated a particular way and determine just to find that their translation is correct and ignore the fact that they could be in another way, and why the King James translators did translate it a certain way, and it's possible that translation, therefore it's not an error. And it says that TANAKH has each one of them, each one, not him and not us. So again, this is a video just showing that Ancient Hebrew is a guy out there trying to teach Hebrew to other people, and he himself doesn't know what he's talking about. And he wants to write morphology and grammar. He needs to learn how to translate, and clearly he doesn't understand that, because you have to understand not only the Hebrew language, you have to understand your own language as well. Amen. Thank you.